Joining us on the How Did You podcast today is Twitch streamer, producer, and all-around great guy, James. How are you doing today, James?
I'm doing fantastic, Taylor. Thank you for having me.
I'm very glad to have you. Obviously, I know you because we work together. You're an entertainment producer at Dexerto, and you have lots of impressive things underneath your belt. But who is James, and why are you such a great person?
Who is James? Oh, well, James is a freshly graduated young adult stumbling his way through life, trying to make a name for himself. Um I love basketball, I love movies, I love TV shows, and I love video games.
Why not? There's the best things to love. Who's your favorite
Yeah.
basketball player?
Oh, favorite basketball player. For a long time, I grew up and I was like the biggest LeBron James fan. And then when he left the Cavaliers for the first time, I was like a little heartbroken 10-year-old and I was like, screw LeBron. And so I stopped liking him. And then uh when he went to the Lakers again, I was like, okay, my hometown Los Angeles, I think I can be a LeBron fan again. So, and he's the GOAT. In my opinion, he's the GOAT. I went through a little Kevin Durant phase, um, but Katie's kind of fallen off for me a little bit. I think if I had to pick one person that was my favorite player, I'm a LeBron guy. He's the GOAT.
Fair play. Obviously, you mentioned you also like video games, and you essentially now work in them, being the reverse sweep producer and basically doing lots of different stuff at Dexerto. How did you end up at Dexerto, and what's your favorite video game?
So I'll knock the video game out first because the Dexerto story is a little longer. My favorite game, Call of Duty, without a doubt. Like I've been a fan of Call of Duty since I was little. I had neighbors that were older than me, so we had a house where it's me and my brother, and then our next door neighbors had three boys, and two of them were older than me, and one of them was younger. And so they had Call of Duty already. My mom didn't let us play Call of Duty yet. So I would go over to his house like during the summer. I was probably like 7 or 8. During the summer, I would go over to his house and watch him play Call of Duty all day long. I wasn't allowed to play, but I would just watch because I thought it was like the coolest game in the world. And so finally, like I convinced my mom after like a year, we got an Xbox 360 and we got Modern Warfare, the original COD 4, and that was my first Call of Duty. And from then on, I was just like, yeah, this is the coolest game in the world. Um, then Dexerto. So I was posting videos on TikTok for a while, and trying to build like a platform and take advantage of TikTok being a cool opportunity for streamers. And I posted a skit one day about like calling that one sweaty Call of Duty player in your friend group or something. And Mike saw it on his For You page. And I was also live on TikTok at the time streaming. And Mike went into my TikTok live and he was like, yo, can I, can, do we have permission to repost your video on our Twitter? I think it's really funny. And I saw Mike Kent and I was like, okay, that name sounds really familiar. And so I clicked and I was like, holy shit, like this is I know Dexerto. And I was like, absolutely. And I just went into this mode where I was like, oh yeah, if you ever have any opportunities or anything, like feel free to let me know. I would love to get involved in the scene some way. I'm super passionate about Call of Duty. I'm super passionate about like the space. Let me know. Mike followed me on Twitter. We chatted a little bit. We had a couple conversations. And then for a while, it was like radio silent. And then an opportunity came up and I came into Dexerto doing short form content with our good friend Chris P. And then the rest is history.
Crispy is an absolute legend. Really did set the bar for us all, and I don't think any of us will reach
Yeah, yeah,
it.
exactly.
But like you say, short form content. You moved on to reverse sweep podcasts. How did you find that? Because that was obviously going from short form to long form.
There's a funny story. So like with the reverse sweep, it was really early on. Dan, it was one of the first times I talked to Dan Bulmer like ever. hopped on a call with him, and he was like, "Oh, we need a producer for Reverse Sweep. We really want you to be a part of it and all this other stuff." And when he first asked me to be on it, I thought he was asking me to be like on air. Like I thought he was asking me to be like camera on talking with Haggy and Pat about Call of Duty, and I'm like, "Yes, this is my time." And then I shortly after found out that like I was just going to be recording it. But either way, I was incredibly excited to be involved with it in some way, shape, or form. And I think that Reverse Sweep Now was a major success this year. And I love all the guys on the show, and they were incredible to work with. So yeah, Reverse Sweep was incredible, and it was definitely a nice balance between doing a bunch of stuff about influencers I may or may not care any lick in the world about, and then Call of Duty, something I'm more passionate about. I get to hang out with those guys on Sunday nights. It was a good time.
Who's your favorite or least favorite person to make a short or a Snapchat story about?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, so I mean,
Is it your Jake Paul? Go on.
I like Logan Paul more than Jake Paul. Um, but I'm trying to think, because like there's a balance. Like to some extent, I make so many videos on them too that I'm annoyed by it now. But I also know they do the best, so I get the satisfaction of the video performing really well. And so it's hard. Um I'll tell you my least favorite has been Andrew Tate. Um yeah, so like I don't know. Wholeheartedly agree with what Logan Paul said recently on a podcast, where I just don't like feel like giving him a platform. And so I don't feel like making any videos on him, because I'm like, I don't want to give this guy any more attention that he's already getting, because I just think it's extremely toxic. And so like my least favorite would definitely be Andrew Tate. And like if it was up to me, I'm not gonna make any more videos on him. Um Favorite, my favorite video to this day that I had a ton of fun with was I did a like roundup on Dr. Disrespect's ban, and I did like a deep dive into it, and that one was really fun just because I love Doc. It didn't do very well. The retention on it was great, viewership was really bad. And then also the Jeff Wittick like David Dobrik accident video that I did, a ton of fun doing that. That one, there was a lot to dive into. It was really dramatic, obviously a fairly serious matter too. So those were probably my favorite two to make by far.
I can completely understand why, because obviously, if you enjoy it, so are the viewers. But if we were to look at statistics, because recently Influence Snapchat has approached 8 months, which is 60 videos and 300,000 subscribers, which is quite a lot for a Snapchat story. You've built it from the ground up and you've done quite a lot of work because you've achieved 20 million viewers unique. How does that feel to be able to take that from the very beginning to where it is now?
Um, Great. I mean, it feels really good. I think it's one of those things where in the beginning I kind of took a challenge and I didn't really know what it was going to turn into. Like I didn't know how fast people got subscribers on Snapchat. I didn't know like what was a lot. I just you could only thing you could compare it to was YouTube or TikTok, but it's really its own thing. And so like it's like I've just been learning this platform that almost nobody else knows like about, and I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go along, because it's not like I can look at other Snapchat stories and see how many views their videos are getting. Like to this day I have no idea how we stack up viewership wise compared to the Shade Room or Drama Alert or Barstool. Like I have no idea. We could be doing better than them. We could be doing 1/10 of their views. Who knows? But like it's kind of cool because I'm on my own little island essentially, and I just get to make these videos and see it grow from zero now to 300. I think we're at around 315,000 now. Um and so it's been very I have a lot of I'm proud of it. I have a lot of pride when it comes to the influence Snapchat story. I think it's like my little baby that I want to protect and also grow. So yeah, no, it's definitely been one of the more proud things that I've accomplished since working at Dexerto.
I can understand that, and obviously, I think with your degree, which you've currently, well, recently achieved, that helps with the growth and the ideas of it behind. Because with the statistics side, you're able to kind of analyze it and see where it's going to go. But James just plays. James M. Sellers has a cracking rebrand recently,
Yeah.
and how do you enjoy your Twitch time, and how do you even fit it in? Because you're very busy.
Oh, now we can get into the fun stuff. No, just kidding. But so let me actually lead this off with a question for you, because I ran into a predicament today in regards to that exact thing. So currently on Twitter, my name is James M. Sellers. My full name is James Michael Sellers. I don't have any problem saying that out like to people, or making it public. My Twitch is also James M. Sellers. I changed it from James Just Plays to James M. Sellers about 6 months ago. 6 months ago yesterday, to be exact. And I did it because I've made a lot of great connections on Twitter with different creators and stuff. And so I figured, oh, let me match my name on Twitch to my Twitter name. So like if I'm ever chatting in someone's chat or something, they're more likely to recognize me if they know James Sellers. Okay, James Sellers here. The issue that I've ran into is now that I've like been building a little bit of traction, and I also want to be able to have my name in game. So like on my in-game Activision name on Call of Duty, I don't want it to be James M. Sellers, because I don't want to talk a bunch of shit to like random people online, and then they have my real name that they can just like do whatever they want with it. I just feel like it's not a good idea. So I actually just checked, found out maybe an hour ago. uh, Twitch has a weird thing where you can't switch your name back after, and you have to wait 6 months before a name goes back into the pool. So James Just Plays, as of today, is available again. And so I'm like, do I just make the full rebrand? And because my YouTube is James Just Plays, my TikTok is James Just Plays, then my Twitch and Twitter are James M. Sellers. Do I only change my Twitch back to James Just Plays, or do I change my Twitch to James Just Plays as well? I don't know. What do you think? I'm having a hard time trying to figure out what the move is here.
It's quite a difficult one because, like you say, if you trash talk people, they're going to know exactly your full name.
Yeah, yeah, I don't want that. I
Uh,
don't want that at all.
I see you as a kind of respectful person, and I don't expect you to go too far. So maybe if you just give them a little bit, it's not going to be that bad, right?
Well, I can't remember what it was. I was talking shit off stream the other day, and I wasn't saying anything too horrible, but like I was saying something, um or being like really sus, and this dude was just like getting extremely angry at it. And then I realized, like, oh, my real name is right here. I don't know if I want this here. Um but then I'm like, okay, if I change just my Twitch and I keep my Twitter James M. Sellers, is that confusing for people who follow me on Twitter? Or will they just eventually associate, okay, James's like Twitch and stuff is James Just Plays?
It's a very valid point because now if you think about it, your Nitmerks, your Tim the Tap Man, all these big kind of streamers, they batch. But I guess that's hmm.
It's hard, right?
What's Ludwig? Sorry, Ludwig Agren. That's his Twitter, but his Twitch is, well, his YouTube and Twitch were
It's
both
just
just Ludwig,
Ludwig.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I would
But
love to have just James.
that's why I've got TXYLA, and it's the closest I could get to just Taylor. And
Yeah, I think that's clean too. I think it was my brother is trying to convince me to change it to James Smellers. Um because it's closer to my actual name, but I was like, I don't know. Anyways, I don't think there's a right answer. We can talk about this another time. Your question though, with how what was restate your question? I totally went on a tangent there.
what do you enjoy about Twitch streaming, and how do you find time for it? Because, like you say, you're very busy. Although you're predominantly Snapchat now, you do also come over to Shorts quite a bit of times, like the sponsored posts, and have a little bit of fun with us because we're a great group of Brits.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that it's hard. And for a while it was too daunting and intimidating for me. Because I've been inconsistent with streaming like pretty much my whole life. I've been streaming for 4 years or 5 years. But like I'll stream for 6 months and then I'll go disappear for 7 months and then I'll come back and stream for a year and then I'll disappear. So I love it. First of all, I love the idea of being a streamer and a content creator. I think that I like when I make a really good piece of content or when I have a good stream where chats popping and I'm having a great time and we're making good content, like I like that's my favorite feeling in the world. And I think that like in a dream scenario, I would love to build my personal brand more and be able to um like create more full time. Because I think that I don't think everyone has that dream, but I think a lot of people have the dream to become a content creator of some capacity. And while I do enjoy production and photography and videography and all that stuff, like since I was little, I've always wanted to stream. So I think that I've just kind of made it a point recently to be consistent. And I was like, okay, I don't want to overload myself. I'm going to put out a schedule every Sunday. It's either going to be 3 streams that week or 4 streams. No more than that, no less. And I'm trying to post one short per day. And that's basically all I'm doing. And a big part of that is I have like hired people to help edit, um, which has taken a huge load off me because like I'm a firm believer that like if you aren't like if you don't love editing, you as quickly as you can afford to bring an editor to help take that off, the more time you have to like have a good mental state. Like I would rather go to the gym for 2 hours than spend 2 hours editing 2 of my videos. And I would much rather pay someone to do that. And so like if my mental health can be really good about creating content and I can pay someone to take the extra parts out that I don't necessarily want to do, I would do that 100% of the time. Like I like my streaming and content, it's not a profitable business right now by any means, but I trust in myself and what I'm doing and the content that I'm making that maybe a year down the line it will be. And so like that's what I'm banking on. And frankly I just enjoy it. Like I always like I've tried different kinds of content. I've tried IRL content, I've tried Apex content, but I always find my way back to Call of Duty and it's always been the game that I love. And so like this time around I'm just embracing it and I'm just making as much Call of Duty as I can. And frankly I've never been so excited for a new game to come out because I am like putting stuff out full force right now. So I'm excited to see what happens with it. But as for the time, I really like I'm paying to have an editor like give me more time during the day to go to the gym and to spend time with family or friends. And then I'm like limiting myself. It is a lot. So like I work until like 3 p.m. from like 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then I'll either edit something or go to the gym, whatever, or do nothing. And then I will stream at 6 p.m. 3 nights a week. So it's been a lot, but I've enjoyed like every second of it. I'm still trying to find the right balance. Um, but but yeah.
There's a lot of work that goes into it, but people don't always understand it. And I want to know, if we were to rattle a few things off, I want you to give me your answers without really thinking too much.
Okay.
So, your favorite franchise,
COD,
favorite sport,
basketball,
favorite esport,
COD.
favorite player of any esports,
Scump was the first one that came to mind.
favorite team,
Optic.
favorite coach.
Marky B.
Oh, interesting one. Favorite retired player.
Big timer.
Your dream team of Call of Duty.
Dream team of Call of Duty. I'm going Bruce, going Dashy, Scump.
Are you just building the optic roster?
No, listen, listen. I'm gonna branch out. I'm gonna branch out. I just wanted those two. I'm going Dashy, Scump, Envoy.
Mhm.
Dashy, Scump, Envoy, and Octane.
Ooh.
That's my four.
Your favorite photo you've ever taken?
That's a really good question. Fuck. Um, dude, that's so hard. There's three that come to mind immediately. Can I have three? Can I have three? Yeah. So the first one is a photo of Half Dome that I took that I think is my lock screen right now. This was like, it's in Yosemite, and I was kind of interested in photography. I took my mom's old Canon T3i out and I went to Yosemite, which is like, I'm blessed that I live really close to it. And so I drove like an hour, went to Yosemite. It was during the winter with one of my friends. And it was the first time I ever took photos, like with the intention of going out and taking photos. And I took that photo, and to this day I still think it's one of my best composed photos, and I had no clue what I was doing. And so I think that's why it's special to me, that it was almost like I was just enjoying the moment and enjoying what I was doing, and it came out perfect and beautiful, and the edit was fantastic too, even when I didn't know that much about like Lightroom. And so that one has a special place in my heart. um I think that Uh, one of Nate shot at champs. Um, I think that like, yeah, the Nate and then photographing Hex. I've done it a couple times now, but like at Pine Park, um, was special just because it's and at his meet and greet. I mean, both Nate shot and Hex are like some of the biggest inspirations and role models for me, and so like being able to have original photographs that I've taken, um like, I at some point I have a blank wall. I want to put like a couple of my favorite photos like compiled on the wall, and like that Nate shot one and one of the Hex ones will 100% be on the wall. And I would like to get some more in different scenarios, um with just more people that like inspire me a lot, but like those two are, you can nail them on the wall right now, they'll 100% be there. Trying to think who else I would love to add to that wall. Like I have shot. Oh yeah, I mean, the problem with the weekend though is like I just recently saw him is you can't take lenses longer than 3 inches to those concerts, and so I had really good seats, but I was allowed to, I would 100% brought my camera and gotten some incredible photos, but it wasn't gonna happen. The weekend maybe, but he doesn't, I like his music, but he doesn't inspire me as much, if that makes sense. um I would say Peter McKinnon. I don't know how I could get a photograph of Peter McKinnon or where, but Peter McKinnon would make the wall in a heartbeat. um um Trying to think who else. It would have to be a shot of LeBron not playing basketball. Like I think that's more rare. Like if I ever caught him somewhere, like at an event, or like not a paparazzi style shot, but maybe he was doing something for a company, that would be cool. I'm trying to think who else. I feel like there's someone. Matthew McConaughey too. That would be so dope to photograph Matthew McConaughey. I would love to photograph Matthew McConaughey for like his whiskey brand. That would be sick. Anyways, that whole photo question turned into a 5-minute conversation.
Your favorite experience that you've had, considering you've pretty much stole a question of mine, and your favorite idols being Hex and Nature.
Okay. Well, we can retouch it on it a little bit. Um, so favorite experience.
Would it be champs? Would it be
Whew.
something that maybe we don't know that much about?
Um, has to be. So I've done some stuff with Pine Park 3 times now, and it would be the third time that it was, and it was the more recent one. Um, Hex was doing a bunch of their bud tenders won a competition, and we got to go out to the farm to like see the farm and see everything, and I was a producer on hand to film and record it. And so I recorded like the experience as well as interviews with them. But the part that was insane to me, like the whole thing was crazy, but it was surreal to be holding the camera and record Hex doing his intros and outros, because I watched his vlog every morning during college, and hearing him do his outro like while holding the camera was one of the coolest things in the world. Like I was smile I like I probably was smiling ear to ear, and he was probably like, why the fuck is this kid smiling so much? But when he said the see you guys tomorrow or another day at the same damn time, and I was just like, that shit hits different. Like it was cool. I so honestly, any of the experiences that I've gotten to like spend time with Hector have been really really cool.
What is the one thing in the current WrestleMania off season which has surprised you?
Mm, mm. Swag signing to YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. Um, that did surprise me a lot, though. To be fair, uh
There's a lot of weird stuff going on with Ninja at the moment.
yeah. I mean, he's definitely going to YouTube too. Um, Craziest thing, I mean, I would have said it was like it was Optic breaking up and then not breaking up. Like I was mind blown. I did not, but like outside of that, um probably Arcides. Like I think that Faye's just really fucked up. And for Arcides sake, I really hope like he does well on that Gorillas roster, because I think he deserves it. But like that's just a really shitty position to be in.
If I had to ask you to rank your three favorite Call of Duty League teams, or however you feel, say three teams are gonna act in the league next year, who are they and where are they placing?
So this is hard, and this has become harder since I started doing coverage and interviews, because after interviewing all the guys, they're all so cool, they're all so nice, and I'm like, oh well, I want them to win. Like they're all such nice guys. um Number one is OG. uh hmm.
Who makes it number two though?
See, this is hard because of all, are we talking pre-roster switches or post-roster switches?
If we had to think about it for the upcoming season,
Okay. Yeah, so one OG. Um, Dude, honestly, two Rocker. I love the new Rocker roster. For reference, all the guys on Toronto Ultra last year were incredible. Like, love them. Super cool guys. Shout out to those guys. But like, so now them being on Rocker with Dylan, um, yeah, I'm a fan. So I would say Rocker 2, and
would it be LAT?
I think so. Yeah. I like Envoy. I like Envoy. I like Octane. I like Draza. Kenny's cool. Probably LAT.
Did it upset you when Envoy left?
No, it didn't necessarily upset me. I kind of understood that they needed to make a change because, like, obviously results weren't appearing. Um, and I think I was just happy that he ended up at LAT, because I think it feels like the right place. You know what I mean? So no, I mean I don't think I've ever really been upset. I think I was like, I think the only time I've ever been upset over something was like when Formal retired. I was like, fuck, dude, not Formal. And man, don't even come near me when Scumps Day comes. I'm gonna be distraught for at least a week.
It's definitely going to be one that affects quite a lot of people, but if we were to say, are you excited for next year?
Yes, very excited.
It sounds weird saying next year. I should say the upcoming year, but
Yeah, yeah.
with it being a 2-year season, how are you looking to play the beta, the campaign? What's your plans for the next
Yeah,
year?
so I mean, I'm gonna definitely, I'll probably stream the beta. I'm gonna be making as much content as I can between the time that Modern Warfare comes out and Warzone 2. Once Warzone 2 comes out, I'll probably go like full on into that. But like between the release of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, I'm gonna just try and make as much like Modern Warfare content as I can, whether it's like just different like class setups, funny moments, this and that. um I'm excited for the search and destroy lobbies. I hope they're really toxic. um you can like you can only hope for the best. I think that if the CDL starts early, as a lot of people think it will, we're going to be in for a treat, because I think that's how it should be. And my fingers are crossed, because I think the viewership will be better than it ever has been. Um, if that's the case.
Fingers crossed. If you could decide, would you bring champs to London?
uh
as a as an American,
selfishly, if Mike Kent's sending me out there, absolutely, I don't care. But there's a much lower chance of me being able to run it back at champs next year, um, if it's in London. So if Mike wants to get me out there to London, then yes, I really hope it's in London. Like if I had to choose and I was going no matter what, I would choose London 1,000,000%. But LA's not too far from me, so I wouldn't mind it.
do you have any life goals?
Life goals. Well, oh, hmm. Yes. The answer to that question is yes. I do have life goals. I think that my goal really um has been to prioritize friendships and relationships and happiness over everything else. Like I really only want to do things that bring me joy. Um and I now that I'm like done with school, because God forbid that did not bring me very much joy, I feel like I'm more in control of selecting how I spend that time. And like I really want to make as many friends as I possibly can. I want to make good impacts on people. I think that's the one thing that I've loved the most about, like, since starting working at Dexerto, is the amount of people that I've met and made like connections with online that I never thought I would have any sort of like friendship with. I do now. And so like I think I just want to continue to hopefully make a positive impact on people. Um and live a very like fulfilled life. I have like physical goals where I always want to be able to say that like I'm in the best shape of my life. I always want to stay consistent in the weight room and have goals there. I have like content creation goals. I have goals within Dexerto, and then I have like goals of personal life, um with the people around me, and like being a better friend, being a better partner, or whatever the case may be. um, so yeah, I think that's the best way that I could answer it.
I've got to ask, how's the pup?
She's currently sleeping right now. Like I mentioned, my brother's sick, and so I think she's just sleeping with my brother. So she's being a very nice dog today. But the issue is she's been barking at early hours. So like yesterday morning, she woke me up at 5 in the morning, and then this morning I also woke up at like 5:15. and so that wasn't fun. It doesn't make me very happy to get on and work.
Well, if we were to sum this whole podcast up, because we've been going for 35 minutes, which doesn't feel like it, but if somebody came to you for a bit of advice, what advice would you give them?
I would say to prioritize doing what makes you happy and control the controllables. That's probably one of my favorite sayings. And it's something that helps me rebalance whenever I'm stressed out or really anxious. Is I ask myself, like, can I control this? If the answer is no, then there's literally nothing I can do about it. I just need to focus on the other things. And so if you're feeling stressed or you're having a hard time with something, control the controllables. Do whatever you can do to maybe help the situation. But if you can't do anything, then there's no point in spending time stressing about it. A saying that I really like to live by and think about is, um, if you are, I guess it's like a story with it, but if you're really terrified of driving in the mountains and driving towards a huge mountain and it's 30 minutes away and you spend that entire 30 minutes stressing about, oh, I don't want to go over this mountain, I don't want to go over this mountain, like this is not going to be fun, it's not going to be good, and then you get to the mountain and there's a fucking tunnel and you don't even have to go over it. You just go right through it. And you just spent the last 30 minutes stressing your life away about a problem that you weren't even going to have to face. And so I try and think about that a lot, because if you can't control something, if I can't control whether I'm going to have to go over the mountain or under the mountain, then why stress about it? Because it's just gonna it's not going to make a difference in the final result. So that would be my little token of advice.
It's a very valuable piece of advice. Why panic if you don't need to? You can only control things that you can control, like you say. Great bit of advice. But if we were to end it there, is there anything you want to plug? Because why not?
Well, I would love to plug my Twitch, but I still don't know if I'm going to change it or not. It's either James just plays. It's either twitch.tv/James just plays, or it's twitch.tv/James M Sellers. It's better if you just follow me on Twitter, but that might change too. Who knows?
I'm sure I can. Well, that's I'll leave a link in the description. But if
Yeah,
that changes,
there will be a link, and it will be the most up to date link. I just don't know what it's going to say.
not a problem at all. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, and make sure you guys stay tuned, subscribe to this channel, because Rambo Ray is on next week and there's no way he's gonna top me, but he might be a close second. Shout out Rambo.